Well, another year, another poor and blatant attempt to appeal to a wider crowd by the Oscars committee. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy. And before I went to bed last night, after making a review, wink, 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 I did stop by to see the Oscar nominations. They aired it on YouTube, so I was like, okay, let me give it a look. I'm curious to see what films got nominated. And after seeing all the categories and all the nominations, and by the way, the two hosts, incredibly awkward. Just stop trying to be funny. They were trying so hard to be funny. If you're a naturally funny individual, it would come through. It felt like they were forcing humor upon us. And honestly, I didn't even care for humor. I just want to know the nominations. I didn't come for you freaking shills. I came to just see the nominations. Get those guys out of there. Anyway, that's a tirade for another day. Anyway, I saw the nominations and I didn't really know what to make of them because I didn't see a lot of films last year. So a lot of them caught me off guard. Others I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I've heard a lot of buzz for that film and, maybe it's deserving of this nomination. I would have to see and judge it for myself. But you know what? There were some quite obvious choices. Others took me completely by surprise. I was surprised to see Melissa McCarthy in the Best Actress category. Best Actress, Melissa McCarthy. I never thought those words would ever come out of somebody's mouth. But here we are. It's from a movie called Can You Ever Forgive Me? Or Can You Forgive Me? I have to see this film and see whether or not she was worthy of this nomination, because that's just bizarre. What world do I live in where Melissa McCarthy is not just a Best Actress nominee, but a two-time Academy Award nominated actress? Melissa McCarthy, guys. Melissa McCarthy. Anyway. But that's not why I'm making this video right now. The reason I'm making this video is to, talk a bit about the Best Picture nomination of the Black Panther, which I am not surprised in the least bit that the Oscars went so low as to nominate this film. Now, do not misunderstand me. Am I saying that Black Panther is an awful film? No. I enjoyed the film. In fact, if I remember correctly, I gave it an enjoyable film rating because it is an enjoyable film. But that's all that it is. It's not an Oscar caliber film. It's not a film that really challenges ideologies. It's not a film that really breaks grounds or changes the system. Like, everyone made a big deal about, oh my god, it's an entire black cast in a superhero film. That's nothing new. You all seem to have forgotten about Blade, which was, not only was it one of the first black superheroes ever portrayed on film, but it also was the first rated R superhero film that did very well, and it was one of the first ones led by a black actor. Like, why does everyone forget about Blade? Is it because like the 90s hasn't aged well? Is that why we forgot about Blade? And as for having a predominantly black cast, what does that matter? It's not about again, Martin Luther King Day was just a couple days ago, and what did he always say? It's not about the color of the skin. It's the content of the character. And in this case, it's about the content of the performances and the content of the film itself. That's what you should be judging this film on its own. That's the merits that you should be judging the film on. Not because you want to make some type of political statement or you're trying to cater to a mainstream crowd. And that's really what this nomination comes as. It's Inception all over again. It's a film that just got nominated because it wants people who don't usually watch the Oscars to tune into the Oscars in the hopes maybe Black Panther might win something. But in all honesty, maybe it might win two things. I hope it wins original score because the score is fantastic. I like the score of Black Panther. Say what you will about the quality of the story and everything, but the soundtrack is good. I like the score. I don't know if it will win Best Song. I think that's going to go to A Star Is Born, which I'm perfectly fine with, but it has no hopes at bringing any of the big nominations. Not to mention that it's not in any of the big categories except for Best Picture. There's no Best Director nominee, or there's no Best Director nom. There's no Best Actor nom, no Best Supporting Actor nom, no Best. In fact, you can make an argument that they could have nominated Michael B. Jordan. And you know what? I would have been perfectly fine with that because that was quite a thrilling performance and one of the most dynamic antagonists I've ever seen in a Marvel film. Yeah, sure, his ideology I don't agree with, but that's the point. You're supposed to showcase his ideology because that's the thing that Black Panther would fight against. And I loved it. Michael B. Jordan killed it. And once again, those two are snubbed by the Oscars. Snubbed. Yes, I said snubbed. Every time they make a quality film, they get snubbed. It happened with Fruitvale Station. It happened with Creed. And here it is happening again with Black Panther. It's like, God, you can't win. You can't win with them, I guess. But yeah, this whole Black Panther nomination, as well as Bohemian Rhapsody, I have not seen it. I'm sure I've heard a lot of people liked it, but those nominations, they don't come off as deserving nominations. They come off as ploys to pull in a mainstream crowd. That's what it feels like. And honestly, it's not only what it feels like, it's probably what it is. They are pity nominations. The remnants of what would have been the popular films category. Remember the popular films fiasco that happened a couple months ago? Yeah, this is the residue that was left over. They're like, okay, well, we can't do the popular film award, so let's just integrate the two big ones that everyone really likes into the best picture category, removing some films that probably should have got it. Like, I heard a lot of people screaming for Hereditary, which, considering how good that film was, I do agree. Maybe Hereditary, for being one of the most interesting, unique horror films, should have got a nomination. I'm sure there were many other films that were more deserving than Black Panther and Bohemian Rhapsody to get nominated. I just can't think of them off the top of my head because I haven't seen a lot of films this year. But yeah, I found it ridiculous, but I'm not surprised either. This is business as usual for the Oscars. They do this all the time. There's that one film that gets nominated that you're like, did it deserve the nomination, or are you just putting that in there because you want to draw a bigger crowd? And that's the case here again. People love Black Panther. It broke so many box office records. It's one of the highest grossing Marvel films. Hey, let's take some of that residue of success and bring it to our Oscar show that now has no host, by the way. So have fun with that. Do not bring those two that did the Oscar nominations. Do not bring them back. I swear to God, if you even think about it, I might just upright not even give it a look. But yeah, I'm gonna try to watch all the Oscar films because there are two that I really want to see. The Favorite, which was made by the same guy that made The Lobster, the most fascinating script I've ever seen in a film. I'm not even kidding. One of the most fascinating scripts I've ever seen in a film. The same guy directed, no, he didn't write it, but he directed it. But I heard so many good things. Freaking Ralph the Movie Maker praised it as his favorite film of the year, so there must be something to this film I have to see. I also want to see Roma, which is on Netflix, so I have to give that a watch. I also want to see if Beale Street Could Talk, which got a Best Supporting Actress nomination for Regina King, a.k.a. The voice of Riley and Huey from the Boondocks. Didn't see that one coming. But I'm happy for her that she got the nomination. She seems to really be working her way up in Hollywood drama-wise. She's been kind of like a small player. She was in Ray freaking 15 years ago. But other than that, she's not been making a big splash. She's been mostly a TV actress. So the fact that she is breaking through in the film industry or like the film community, I'm very proud for her. Congratulations for the nomination. But those are my thoughts on the whole Black Panther thing. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think that it's Oscar caliber. I don't think it was deserving or even worthy of an Oscar nomination. But I'm sure many of you disagree. In fact, me and Sloan, the female otaku, were talking on Twitter about it. She thought it deserved it, and that's perfectly fine if you do. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we think it deserved it. It's the fact that it's being used as a prop to drag people to watch the ceremony. So it's a token award. It's a token nomination, I should say, not an award. Token nomination. If it outright deserved it and it deserved to be there, then perfectly fine. But in this case, it's not. It's a token nomination to draw simpletons and the common folk to go watch this show about a bunch of people that smell their own farts. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. But yeah, do let me know if you guys thought that Black Panther deserved its nomination, or do you think that it was also a pity vote like I thought it was? Comment below. Let me know. And stay tuned. I have a review coming out. My first review of the year. And it's going to be a good one. I promise you that. So stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony Watt II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.